Falling intonation, rising intonation, rise fall intonation, and fall rise intonation. Right? Intonation sitawi, the rising, the stada awaz, the baratlu or the qadatlu is called intonation. Right? We can simply say, in simple words, we can say the music of English is called intonation. The music, the melody, the music of English is called intonation. As I've told you, we will go slowly and gradually and understanding this one by one. So for that, in today's class, we will study the falling intonation in much more detail and practical examples. Right? A falling intonation. Can anyone tell me what is meant by falling intonation? So, but the falling intonation set away. In which our voice becomes down? Just that is falling intonation. Are you sure? Ha. In falling intonation, your voice starts higher and dropped at the end. It's called falling intonation, right? And falling intonation will usually happens in statements, in WH questions, and what? Exclamation and one another in commands. Falling intonation in commands, you can simply say in instructions. Instruction, you can simply say instructions. Right. Falling intonation will happen in statements, in WH question, exclamations and commands. Now you might be wondering what is exclamation. Right? What is exclamation? Can anyone tell me? I'll give them a prize. Exclamation, that is one of the meaning of exclamation. The mark of exclamation, you know? Another. Now, but in linguistic, what is exclamation? In our accent, what is exclamation? Exclamation simply means your strong desire, emotion, and feeling is called exclamation. The strong desire and feeling is called exclamation. And last one, in commands and instructions. Now, how these four things will have falling intonation, let's understand one by one. First, statements. What is meant by statements? First, tell me. Statement sitawi. What is meant by statement? The simple and straight argument, the simple and straight, talking. You are telling to someone that is a simple and straight idea I'm telling to you. But that simple or straight, your simple or sada khabar, in the end, that intonation will go fall at the end. Right? For example, simple sentence, you should take one of the examples is, for example, somebody asks you, what do you do for a living? You can simply say, I am a teacher. For example, if somebody asks me, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? The rise, at the end, my intonation will go fall again, because what starts from WH? And WH question and ki zama pitch and ki fall barazi. If somebody asks me, what do you do for a living? Right? Simple question. If you use the wrong intonation, it will sound ridiculous. For example, what do you do for a living? For a living. That is ridiculous. Simple and easy, and it looks beautiful. What do you do for a living? For a living. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Living kiba, drop rashi, and kiba, full intonation rashi. You can simply say, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. And another point that you need to understand, if you clearly listen, the teacher ends with a schwa sound, And is schwa sound is stress? And stress sound, so definitely your voice, your tone will go down at the end. Take the simple and straight forward message. For example, another statement that you want to tell to someone. For example, if somebody asks you, are you ready? Simply say, I'm ready. I am ready. If somebody asks you, are you ready for going outside? Was the outside because I'm tone because I am asking a question. In question, your tone will go rise at the end. Simple. Are you ready for going outside? For going outside? Not for going outside. No. At the end, it will go rise. And the answer should be, yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready. If I use the wrong tone, it will be, yeah, I'm ready. Ready. And the listener might be wondering that you will tell something else. I'm ready. E nor pasisav. Right? And then if you use the wrong intonation. Right? So always use the correct intonation while you are giving the statements. In statements, your intonation will go down always at the end. Khabar samajh kar ala? Well done. Then in WH questions, if somebody don't know, by your information, for your information, WH questions are those grammatical small words which starts from the WH. For example, what, why, where, whom, who, etc., etc. Right? These kind of words starts with WH. So in these kind of words, our tone will go down or fall at the end of words, or at the end of a sentence, or at the end of your speech. Right? For example, any example which starts, for example, as I gave you the example before, what do you do for living? It's a kind of question, sorry. A question, but WH question, not simple question. So WH question, your tone will go down at the end. For example, if somebody asks me, what do you do for living? So my sentence, the horse are over. What do you do for living? I'm not saying what do you do for living. For living, the incorrect Rashi. The listener might be wondering that you won't finish yet. You won't finish yet. There is something after that. But if you want to finish your sentence, so always use the downfall, the falling intonation at the end. Right? What do you do for living? What do you do for living? Repeat after me. What do you do for living? What do you do for living? Is it clear? Another. Listen to me. Simple. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm not saying, where are you going? Where are you going? That looks informal and ridiculous. It should be dropped at the end. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where starts Bashi the Haina and Bashi a low one. Where are you going? Where are you going? Can anyone give me one examples which starts from WH question? What, where, who, whom? No. Apart from these two. What, where, apart from these two? Who, whom? Who are you? Right? Who are you? It will be, who are you? Who are you? Not, who are you? Who are you? That is ridiculous, right? And you know why intonation really significant in our speech? Why? Because you will hear a lot of speakers when they speak, they sound unnatural when they speak. They sound robotic when they speak. And if you want to sound much more fluent and natural in your speech, you must have to take commands on intonation, which is the music of English, the rising and falling. You will be aware that where to use the correct intonation in certain places. And we are going to do the same thing today, right? Two things are done. Statements, WH question. Now exclamations, the important thing. Exclamations. Number 3. What are exclamation? Can anyone tell me? I've told you at the beginning. Strong feeling, strong desire, strong emotion. For example, if you saw something, if you saw a car, for example, Mashal bought a car and you saw that car and you say, that's amazing. That's amazing. If I use the rising intonation, then so confused because I told you for strong emotion, we will use the rising intonation. For emotion, just not strong emotion. For emotion, we will use the rising intonation, but that will a kind of question then. For example, that's amazing because I am surprised. For shocking, we will use the rising intonation. Rise intonation, exclamation ki useful. That depend pata dakha chitazan surprise show ke you are showing yourself as a surprise or you are showing yourself as a strong emotion. For example, listen to me, they one of difference over there. One sentence and one phrase. That's amazing. That's amazing. One a different. First one. That's amazing. It's mean I'm shocked, surprised. The shock, some surprise. Wow, that's amazing. I wasn't expecting that, but that's amazing. And if I am using, that's amazing, means that I am showing my strong desire, strong feeling, emotions. Do you understand the difference? These two are far more different things. Take the another word which you might be confused. Again, two emotions. Wonderful, wonderful. For example, your car is wonderful, wonderful. Rising intonation. It means that I'm shocked. I am shocked, I'm surprised, right? But if I say wonderful, wonderful, it's mean I am showing my desire. Emotion show, strong emotion show. So that is wonderful. Your watch is wonderful. Is it clear? Yes. So in exclamation, it depends on you that whether you want to show yourself as a strong emotion, desire, or whether you want to show yourself as a shock or surprise. So in shock or surprise, your tone will go rise, and in strong emotion and desire, your tone will go fall at the end. Clear? Then, last one, commands or instruction, you can simply say. Commands. Now, what is command? Can anyone tell me what is meant by command? To give order to someone to do the thing. Request and command are two far more different things, right? In request, you can simply rely on someone that please do this thing. But in command, they must have to do this thing. In commands, very simple. For example, if I told Bilal before that, bring a glass of water for me. If I tell to Bilal that, Bilal, open the door, please. Open the door. Bilal, open the door. I'm not saying, Bilal, open the door. Open the door. That looks ridiculous, right? It will sound unnatural. Simple. Bilal, open the door, please. Open the door. It's a command. I'm giving him instruction, command that do this thing. Open the door, please. Another. Look at this. Sit down. Listen. Sit down. Stand up. Go there. Come here. A lot of commands, huh? Go there. Come here. Sit down. Open the door. Turn on the light. Turn off the fan. Turn on the video. Turn off the video. Right? So these all commands and all instruction, your tone and your intonation will go fall at the end. Right? So that was all about the falling intonation, which is the first type of intonation. Inshallah, tomorrow we will study the rising intonation, that in which kind of a wording and which kind of a scenario your voice will go higher at the end, and why. Today we have discussed in statements, WH question, exclamations and commands. Your tone will go down. Why? Because they all are having falling intonation at the end. Right? Khabar samajh kar ala? advanced students.